Hello there YouTube, this is the Dictator for Mr. Dictator Designs, bringing you another Photoshop CS5 tutorial. This tutorial I will be covering the topic of how to make a SIG or signature picture with Photoshop CS5. Now if we jump straight into Photoshop CS5, you'll see that I've already got a background image downloaded and opened up in Photoshop, and I've also done the same for a PSD. You can get these, you can get the PSD from www.officialpsds.com, and you can get the background from www.deviantart.com just by typing in background or some other relevant search to then basically just go to the picture and download it. Anyway, I've opened up the background and the PSD that I'm going to be using to make the signature. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my marquee tool selected, and I'm going to left click and drag the mouse cursor to the point where I want the PSD, or sorry, the cut to stop, which will be roughly here. I will then press CTRL and C to copy, but you can also go up to the edit menu and click copy. Then going to go over to my background image and do CTRL and V. Alternatively, again, you can go up to the edit menu and do paste. Next, I'm going to position the render to the bottom of the picture, and then next what I'm going to do is save this picture as a JPEG. The reason why I do this is because if you want to copy and paste the background image and the PSD, usually when you do that within Photoshop without merging the layers, you only ever get the top layer, which in this case is the PSD. So I'm just going to save this as SIG1. Again, I'm going to click the drop down menu and click JPEG. Now I don't want that to save there, I want it to save in my pictures folder. Alright, OK, and click OK. Next, I'm going to close that down as I don't need it anymore. The same with the PSD. I'm going to open up the file that we just saved. So, File, Open, Open SIG1. There you'll see we have the image that we just created. Next, I'm going to cut the picture out to the typical size of a signature, which I think would be about there. I'm going to hold down CTRL and C. I'm then going to go to File, New. I'm going to create a web document, 640 by 480. This size here doesn't really matter because we're going to be cropping this after we finish the signature. And I've selected the background color as black, but you can select the background color as anything you want, or alternatively you can also make it transparent. I like to work on black backgrounds for the simple fact that I can see what I'm doing while I'm creating my pictures, and you can always delete the background once you've finished anyway. So once that's done, click OK. Now we already have the image, the previous image, selected because we did CTRL and C. Next we do CTRL and V on the new image that we just created. Next we're going to want to give this a slight border, so we go to Layer, Layer Style, Stroke, and this will give image a white stroke. You can use gradients, patterns for this tutorial, and just for basically speed's sake I'm going to leave that as color. I'm going to leave the color as white. The position of the stroke will be outside of the picture, and I'm going to turn the opacity up to 100%, and the size of the stroke I'm going to leave at 1 pixel. With that done, click OK. Next you're going to obviously want to add your name. So if we click text, the text tool, which is over here, click on the image, and that's way too big for what we want here, so I'm going to turn the text to 14 pixels, and maybe that's a bit too small, say 30 pixels. And for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to type my channel name, which is Mr. Dictator Designs. Now again, you can see that's a little bit too big. It doesn't really fit inside the picture very well. So we go to the text size and maybe knock that down to 18. That fits in just nicely. Okay, so next I'm going to want to obviously change the color of the font. I think for this tutorial I'm going to go for no, maybe a white. Yeah, just so it pops a little bit better. You can choose any color you want here, obviously. Okay, next I'm going to want to change the font because I'm not too keen on that font. Yeah, there we go. I went for Transformers. I already have this downloaded into my Photoshop. If you ever want any fonts for your Photoshop CS5 projects, you can always go to www.dafont.com. Moving on. Now I don't really like the placement of this text, so I don't know, maybe up here a little bit. Yep, I think that looks good. Now I'm going to want to add some layer styling to the text, so go to Layer, Layer Style, and maybe give it a drop shadow, so it pops off the signature just a little bit better. Let's have a look at Bevel and Emboss. No, that doesn't really look very nice, so I don't know, maybe a stroke. Now we don't want a white stroke, maybe a black one, just to pop the text just a little bit more. And how about an outer glow? Going ahead just a bit too quickly there, sorry. The drop shadow, I left all the defaults. The stroke, when I put the black stroke on, I just changed the colour, turned up the opacity to 100% and left the size to 1 pixel. Now with the outer glow, I'm going to leave all the settings as default, except I'm going to change the outer glow colour to white, and that just gives it just a little bit of a foggy effect. Going to click OK. Now that's pretty much the signature made. You can use these for quite a lot of forums nowadays. I know a lot of people are into game forums, and whenever you're on a forum, a lot of forums do let you post a signature, so it's a great way of getting some of your artwork noticed. Now I said earlier that obviously not a lot of forums are going to have a black background, or forums are going to have their own colour schemes, and you don't really want excuse me, you don't really want your picture to then clash with that background. So earlier on I said we can always delete the background, and that's now what we're going to do. You could either do that in two ways, by clicking on your eraser tool, left clicking, sorry, and then right clicking your eraser tool, and you go for Magic Eraser, clicking on the background, and just first click, that will get rid of your background. If I undo that quickly, there's another way of doing it, just by clicking this layer, which is your background layer, and then right clicking, and then just hit delete layer. Click yes, and again that deletes your layer. So you could either go to your eraser tool, right click and do Magic Eraser tool and just click on your background, or you can click on your background layer, right click and hit delete layer. I hope you find this tutorial informative. Please don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. I will be doing future tutorials in Photoshop CS5, so stay tuned, and this has been the Dictator for Mr. Dictator Designs.